Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today. Nolan Wells' parents went on to the Jamal Bryant's podcast that was displayed today. Of course, a bunch of other black people are talking about me, and it's totally fine with me. You're making me more famous, which is cool. We got other updates before we talk about any of those other things in the Carmelo Anthony's case. You will not believe what we just found out. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country.
Welcome back. First of all, I want to say, give a big shout out to the members who have been subscribed to our channel. I appreciate you. Thank you for going up and beyond and showing some love in that way, whether you're a rookie, whether you're an officer, SWAT, or you're a deputy chief. And also, deputy chief, just so you know, we got a special Q&A for you guys that we're preparing. And for the SWAT team members, 40% off the Tatum store. And you name it, we got it for you. Just check it out if you're interested to join. And for those who've already joined, I love you, appreciate you. Make sure you download my podcast, The Officer Tatum Show, on the podcast network. Rate them, rate the podcast, and give me a review. Also, Substack, if you're interested in the written format of the viral videos that I do, something that you could share to your family members that love to read and consume information that way, go ahead and join the Substack. We got about 15,000 people that's on our Substack. We want to hopefully get that number higher if you're interested. Fish House, this is going to be one of the greatest events that you're ever going to go to in your life. One of my favorite events, and it's going to be my first event that I'm doing on a larger scale of events. Those of you who have been asking me, Brandon, please, can you do events? Are you going to come to my city? Well, once this one is very successful, we're going to begin to move this around the country. So on September the 16th and 17th, it's a 2-day event. The first night is going to be a bourbon tasting, a 5-course meal infused with Verdict bourbon. You do not want to miss it. The chef showed us the menu, and it's out of control. The second night is just going to be an event of me presenting to you guys, almost bringing a show to the Florida Fish House, where I'm going to be doing Q&A, talking about all the things you guys know and love for me to talk about. And so September the 16th and 17th at the Old Fish House in Florida, or the Old Florida Fish House. Make sure you get your tickets because they're moving fast. All right, Carmelo Anthony update. Let me play the update. These were messages that were sent. And is this the messaging part of it? Okay. These are messages that were sent to his girlfriend, apparently, which gave his state of mind. And they didn't even present this to the jury. This alluded to his state of mind at the time in which he brought his knife onto campus. Now, all this cheering and jumping around and screaming they got a new judge, this information, if presented, is damning or damning to him. My wife told me, she corrected me. She go, you said damning. It's damning. This is damning to him. Roll the clip.
Yeah, John, today we are hearing a lot of new evidence that was never made public during the trial, including details of what investigators found on Carmelo Anthony's phone and why it is that they believe he took a knife to this track meet last year in April. During opening statements, prosecutors revealed Anthony had a documented pattern of obsession with knives and guns. In one text message, Anthony allegedly fantasized about stabbing someone, writing, "When I stab somebody, I'm going to lick their blood off the blade." Prosecutors say they also have numerous examples of Anthony's desire to start fights and to be in fights, and they argue that's what he went to the track meet to do that day. The reason none of that came out at trial is that the defense and prosecution had what they're describing as a gentleman's agreement, an off-the-record understanding that neither side would go into character evidence, including allegations of violence and bullying by Austin Metcalf. Instead, both sides would focus on what happened under the tent the day of the stabbing. The defense now argues that Anthony chose not to testify in his own defense because at the last minute of the trial, prosecutors reversed course and told them if Anthony takes the stand, it would violate their agreement and open the door to all of those character issues being brought out. That agreement is a key part of the defense's argument as to why it is that Anthony deserves a new trial. And that's something we're going to continue to hear a lot more about through the rest of today and possibly into tomorrow. John?
I would assume if he gets a new trial, that all of the stuff that was presented in court today would probably be admissible, yeah?
Yeah, it absolutely. Prosecutors have already said that's part of the reason both sides agreed to this deal is because they didn't want to further enrage this public debate that was happening outside, where this was really, they felt, throwing gas onto an already big fire if they brought out a lot of these character attacks. Of course, going forward to the next trial, that agreement would not be in place, and all of this would be fair game. Prosecutors have said they would have brought all of this up if it weren't for that agreement.
Now think about this for a minute. You got that happening. You have a boy getting sentenced to 35 years. I think he probably would have got 60, 70 years if they would have known that there was more of a premeditation. You run around saying your desire to stab people and be violent and start fights and all of the above. Well, you do that. They present that. Then the premeditation of what you've done is even more of a greater risk of you getting way more time in prison than previously believed. So, you know, I think that they don't have a good case here. I think they need to let it go. The boy's going to do 35 years. He's probably not going to do his full time. He's got to do like 70%, 80% of his sentence. They'll get him out for good behavior, and he'll have a chance to live his life, unlike Austin Metcalf. Before we get to the next topic, I want to give a shout out to Synergy. If you're looking for an energy drink that is natural, 75 milligrams of caffeine with vitamins and nootropics that give you the clean energy you need throughout the day instead of cramming caffeine down your throat, 200, 250, 300 milligrams of caffeine, which hurts your cortisol levels as you try to go to sleep at night, which creates a cycle of needing energy drinks. We don't want you to need energy drinks. We want you to be sustained with clean energy. You take clean energy during the day. You get great sleep at night with Synergy Night. Wake up energized, sustainable energy through the day. You do that cycle for a week, it'll change your life. All you got to do is go to SynergyLife.com, SynergyLife.com, money back guarantee. If it doesn't do what you wanted to do for you, we'll get your money back. All righty, let's get to the Nolan Wells case. I didn't even want to play this clip because I think it's cringy, but I'll play it anyway because I really do believe that Nolan Wells deserves a happy birthday celebration. I think he deserves to be celebrated and remembered as an incredible young man that he is. Roll the clip.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, Nolan. Happy birthday, Nolan. Happy birthday, homeboy. Happy birthday. Give me one. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
All right, so y'all see it, which I really think he deserves an incredible happy birthday from everybody involved in this, not just his parents. But the problem that I see here, in part, is that why is everything black, blackety black? When Nolan wasn't raised in a black, blackety household, a black, blackety community, didn't go to a black, blackety school. And this is what bothers me because it feels as if his death has been hijacked for a civil rights movement when we don't even know what happened to Nolan. We don't know how he died. There's a possibility that one of his black friends could have been the last one to see him alive. And I'm not the one out here pushing that narrative unless I have evidence, but what I'm saying is that with the unknown, why are we acting as if these white boys are guilty by virtue of just their skin color? There is no evidence. People out here lying and making up stuff to make them guilty when they're not guilty. Let's go to Jamal Bryant. This is the podcast that the family decided to go on and communicate with this pastor. Now, every time you hear the family's attorney, the family itself, that side of the argument, say, we're just asking questions. We didn't blame anybody. This is not about race. Oh, really? This is not about race. Then why do you contact a civil rights attorney? A black one at that. One that is known for getting justice, which he never get any criminal justice. It's just money payout. It's a financial gain. I think it's a grift. But why would you get a civil rights attorney? There's local attorneys there that will help you. There's attorneys that are white that'll help you. Why not a white attorney? Why not go to a white church? Why not this be a community gathering? It's got to be, after his death, they made it out to be black, 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 when that ain't even the way Nolan lived his life. Listen to Jamal Bryant and you tell me, does this make sense to be associated with Benjamin Crump or this guy? Roll it.
I bet you $1,000,000 to 1 if it was 5 black boys and 1 white boy on the boat. By now, there would have been an arrest, there would have been a warrant, there would have been a seizure, but because America doesn't believe that Black Lives Matter, they trying to act offended because we want to ask the question, what happened?
It's not a question when you're making accusations. They're getting offended because you're accusing. He just said, now, Nolan's family is sitting on the front row, and I know you can't stop the pastor from saying this, but even in his sermon, he's continuing to frame this as a racial matter. He said 5 boys on a boat with 5 white boys. Well, we all know that it wasn't just one boat, and Nolan didn't even go on a boat that Jackson Warren went on, or at least Warren wasn't on the same boat. He was on Wyatt's boat. Then everybody came back on different boats and all this other stuff. It wasn't just an isolated situation with 5 white boys and 1 black kid going on a secluded island. It wasn't the case. It was like 20 of them out of 3 boats. And Nolan saw other people there. He hung back with the girl. It was 1,000 people on the island, hundreds of boats out there. Why are you still framing this as if it was one black guy and 5 white boys? And claiming if the roles were reversed racially, we know this wouldn't have happened. How do you know that? Give me an example in Mississippi in recent future or recent times that this has happened. It doesn't exist. Roll the clip.
Been to our brother. And when we ask the question, what happened? The response is we're still gathering information.
There's an investigation.
We're waiting on toxicology, waiting on the grand jury. Am I my brother's keeper? That's the question underneath every delayed subpoena, every sealed file, every complaint filed against a grieving mother's nursing license.
One complaint.
Instead of asking whoever left her son on the island, the institutional Mississippi still muttering Kane's excuse, it's not my problem. I wanted to come to Mississippi today from Georgia.
To grift.
To let the system and to let the establishment know, let that be the last time you try to intimidate a black mother. She's got every right to fight for her son, to stand for her son, to question her son, and you better not mess with her nurse's license. Leave that black woman alone. And I want them to know if the dirt wouldn't be quiet, what makes you think the water's gonna be quiet? Because black people know something about coming through the water.
These are the people that are representing black folks today. This mother's grieving her son is dealing with that kind of person that made it all about race. Acting like an investigation is somehow thwarted or untoward because it's taking longer, and y'all didn't even give them the phone, so they didn't even have that to investigate. That's the part that bothers me. Why are we still talking about this? This is what makes me mad, and y'all get mad at me for pointing it out. It's not right to keep pushing this race stuff. Where is the racism? Once upon a time in Mississippi, people were racist. 2092, y'all still gonna be saying the same stuff. All right, here's a little bit of that podcast from Jamal Bryant. Roll it.
But the intentionality of wickedness,
Absolutely, it's
to
disgusting.
give a bad portrayal is something I've never seen.
No.
At this level and at this height. And the end game, I think, is just intimidation.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times when you hear cyberbullying, I'm thinking it's middle schoolers. So cyberbullying is in high school, but not for adults who are grieving.
And I've never, cases where and we were just talking about this, cases similar to ours, I've never seen this. I've never seen that. And it's you know, the cyberbullying component of it.
Yeah.
And so, and I hate to say it, but it's so sad. Like sometimes it takes you to a place.
Mm.
And so as I'm sitting here experiencing this,
Yeah.
I think about kids,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in our community. Her name was Aubrey Wyatt. I think about those situations and I'm like, my God, like feel like sometimes I'm barely holding on.
Wow.
This, like, just thinking from a child's perspective who hasn't been through life, who hasn't been through anything, to know that they would have to endure something like this, because this stuff is taught.
Mm-hmm.
You're not like, and that's why as parents we have to be careful, because you guys, this is not cool. Like bullying other people. If you have children, your children are gonna see this at some point.
Oh no, for sure.
And then that carries over to, you know, how they're gonna behave and how they're gonna treat others.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that was about. Maybe our clip is too short, but she said a lot of something I didn't understand. I don't know what she's talking about. The bullying, is she saying that people are bullying her online, which I think is wrong if she's getting bullied online. But I also think it's equally wrong to accuse people who didn't have nothing to do with a murder. They're young people too. They were actually Nolan's friends too. And I think it's wrong. Shout out to John with the super chat. Brandon, I know you have a mixed family, so do I. I just yelled at my mixed kids for using that word. I'm assuming the N-word. Because I don't approve. Am I right? 100%, man. Let me just or am I wrong? Let me just say it like this. Would you go to your church and call your pastor or say the N-word to your pastor? If you wouldn't do it at church, the question is, why wouldn't you do it? Because it's inappropriate to do. If it's inappropriate to do it at church, it's inappropriate, and you see the fault in it, don't do it publicly. I teach my kids all the time. I don't like the N-word. I don't use the N-word in front of my kids. Y'all don't see me using the N-word on here. I have used it before. I used to use it every other word out of my mouth when I was in college. And I blew up on somebody about 7 years ago online. He was talking trash, and the hood came out. But I don't condone that. I don't believe in using the N-word. And then also, if I don't want a white person calling me that name, then I'm not using the word. If I get offended that white people say it because I think it's wrong, then why would I be out here saying it? You know how hypocritical and stupid you sound? If you saying an N-word every day of the week, calling your brother, sister N-words, you get mad if somebody say N-word, then a white person say N-word while singing to a song and you get offended. That word, you just need to let it go. There's no taking that word back. Every black person that tells the lie to themselves that, oh, we do this because we take the word back. No, you didn't. If you got the word back, you wouldn't be offended when people use the word. Here's another clip from the podcast of them saying they want to get the Department of Justice involved, but it never materialized to a real conversation, but wrote a clip.
Give us a crash course, either one of you, on why you want the DOJ to get involved.
Well, from the beginning, just premature statements before an investigation was made.
Yeah.
That, along with stuff that was told to us, which was out of character, but the premature statements and then just the way that people were moving, it didn't seem trustworthy. And my wife that day, she pulled me to the side and she said a prayer that whoever needs to come into our life to help us navigate this, to bring them forth. And he brought us Ben Crump and his team.
And let me say this, because I've seen this too. His team never reached out to us.
Attorney Crump's
team, where's the camera? Attorney Crump's team did not reach out to us.
Yes.
What it was is when we were at Lake Mars and he and I sat there and I said that prayer, and then we went to the coroner's office and the whole thing, and finally we made it back home. Things were already set in motion. my wonderful friend group. And they were like Johnny on the spot.
That's great.
That next morning, it was, hey, look, I have this, this, and this. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not going to say her name because I don't need her getting bullied either, because apparently my nail tech got bullied.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it, because second to the outrageous
All right,
attacks
so
against...
let's jump on this real quick. I'm gonna tell you guys what I think should have happened, that I think would be more reasonable to happen in good faith, and I'm gonna tell you what ended up happening, which I think is not in good faith. A good faith approach to this, because we showed y'all text messages just yesterday of Miss Christine and Warren Hudson, and there was a cordial communication between the two of them. Hey, anything you need, Miss Christine, let me know and we'll provide it. She asked them for their location. She asked them for Nolan's stuff, what he was wearing. They gave her everything she wanted. Anytime she asked, he responded to her. That to me it seemed to be reasonable for her to come out in public and say, hey, the Warren kid, when I talked to him, he responded, he was respectful, and he answered all my questions. He wasn't evasive or anything. Please let off of this boy. This was one of my son's friends. And we don't need everybody getting out. That's what should have happened. And the mom reached out, and all these other people from the other side, the white side, reached out to them, and they never responded to him. If you really thought it was that much of a deal and there was so much suspicious, weird things going on, why don't you come together as families and talk through this, so when you disseminate things to the public, you're not hurting another family that really didn't deserve this. You know, we talk about Miss Christine getting one complaint. People have gone to jail for threatening Ashley Cole, Warren's stepmother. It's been 5 people that have gone to jail. And we heard 3 phone calls that if the cops knew who these people were, they threatened to kill Warren's dad. That's 3 more people that should go to jail. How many people have been arrested for harassing Christine Wells? 0. How many people have been arrested for harassing these boys? It's been like 5 people so far. Who do you think is, and then you got to ask yourself this question. How did they get involved in this to the point where they're getting death threats? I thought nobody mentioned them. I thought nobody made it about race. I thought they're just asking questions. That's not true. Asking questions don't get people accused of murder. And you got other 18 and 19-year-old boys that appear to be really good friends with Nolan. Now their lives are ruined. Some of them can't even go to stores and get anything because people are harassing them, because they are under the impression that they've killed Nolan Wells. Why? Because the attorney of the family and the family is putting it out there that these white boys must have done something wrong. And I think it's wrong. Until you get the evidence, why are you going to blame somebody, especially young people? Here's the last thing, which my honest opinion is that when people gave to the GoFundMe, what did they think they were giving towards? They raised $700,000, $800,000, but Tyler Perry paid for the funeral. Colin Kaepernick paid for the secondary autopsy. Allegedly, Al Sharpton did the eulogy for free. Or, no, let me say he did the eulogy for free. Tyler Perry paid for it. I'm assuming that his eulogy honorarium comes with the funeral proceeding. So now that all of that is out of the way, where's $800,000 going to? And I think this gives some answers to it. Roll the clip.
That night before it hit the internet, we were in bed. Mm-hmm. And I was like, they're going to come for my career.
You said that.
I told them, I was like, they're going to come for my career. I don't know if it is going to be now, in a few weeks, in a few months. I said, but I am telling you, they are going to come for my career. And when I say they, I'm not talking about any specific group of people, just people who don't like the fact that we are just wanting answers.
Yes.
We're just
Time out. It appears that all the black people support you. Who is going to come for your job? According to the internet of what has been presented on the internet and publicly, she only has one complaint. She has not been fired. I think her conduct should get her fired, the statement that she made at that press conference. Now, you can say whatever you want to say, but if a white person came out and said, you got to talk to your kids about hanging around black people, pretty much, the way they move in spaces where people don't look like them. If a person says something so racially charged and biased, I think that person should not be working in a setting where they have to deal with the people in which they claim that you got to be careful around. That's not reasonable. That's not practical. You are a professional. You can't be I raise my kids to watch out, especially if people don't look like you. That is racial. That is a racist thing to say. That is a bias and prejudice thing to say. If a white lady came out and said that, I think it's wrong and I think she shouldn't have her job. And then somebody fired over her saying that. But even then, nobody's firing her. She got one complaint on her job. Ashley Cole, Warren's stepmother, has gotten hundreds of complaints. The woman doing the autopsy, the coroner's office, hundreds of complaints, thousands of complaints. Thousands of people calling and trying to get them fired and threatening to kill them. I'm even getting threats just because I interviewed. All right. Roll it.
Wanting the truth.
Can you imagine to be insulted that you want answers and closure about your son?
I say it all the time. All we did was ask a question.
Yes.
We asked a question that any good, loving, caring parent or parents would ask if something like this happened. I would hope, and I have said this every interview, press conference, I would hope that, God forbid, if you were in this situation, that you would ask the same question. You would want to know, because when you are left with your child is gone.
Yes.
We can't answer what happened, when it happened. We can't answer any of these questions. It's hard to cycle through the stages of grief, and you get stuck.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's all we did was ask a question. And I have, really just tried to mentally, but you can't mentally prepare yourself for any of this, because at the end of the day, and I've said it before, we didn't ask for this.
Yeah, shock and awe.
We did not ask to lose our child. We have not asked for people. Let me say this. We have not begged, because that's another thing. We have not begged anyone to donate to the GoFundMe. What we have said is that if you can, great. Thank you. We appreciate it, because what people don't understand is situations like this, there's so much that comes with it. Elmore and I have not been to work since early July.
Yeah.
That first week, we've not been to work. And I'm going to be honest with you, the profession that I have sometimes is emotionally heavy.
Yeah.
So now I have to kind of sit within myself and be like, okay, are we really ready for this? Are we ready to go back to that life?
Now let's talk this through. As a woman whose son has died, I understand that you may not be able to go back to work. It's been over a month now. Are you saying to us that you're utilizing the GoFundMe money to maintain your lifestyle while you're not working? Is that what you're saying? Why is Mr. Elmore not at work? It's been over a month now. That's fine. You're grieving your family. I get it. You deserve to grieve in a way in which you think is the honest way to do it. All right, let's move over to the other side of the family. Does Miss Ashley Cole get to take off work because her son is being accused of murder to the point where 5 people have been arrested for trying to kill them or threatening to kill them? She goes to work every day. Does Warren Hudson, does Jax, does Morgan, now they're accusing that kid Bart, do they get to go back to college or get to sit out of college because they're being accused of murdering their own friend until the investigation is over? They don't have this is what bothers me. They don't have the luxury of doing that. Trayston don't have the luxury of just saying his side of it, given what he believed happened. explaining that he was the person on the video arguing it wasn't Nolan. He don't get a chance to say, because of my friend died and I want to mourn, or my friend died and I'm being accused of killing him, I get to take time off. I don't get it. But what I do see is this. Let me predict something for you guys. This is what I believe. It could be not true, but based on everything, and I've been trying to be sensitive to this family because they did lose their son. But it's getting harder and harder the more stuff they say. And then Christine put my name in her mouth. Christine said, I'm not even worthy of giving me airtime. Well, then it's fair game, right? It's fair for me to criticize you now because you just said something crazy, and I don't think that's reasonable. But this is my prediction. This is what happens in these cases. They have a case. They know it's no racial component. There's no evidence of race, but they know there can be some money made. Who do you go to when you want to make some money? You don't go to your local guy. This didn't happen across the country. This happened in Mississippi. You don't go to an attorney in Mississippi. You don't go to a representative there in your locale. You go to Benjamin Crump. Get a national figure involved. Immediately you raise $700,000 on a GoFundMe. What's the next play? The day that Nolan was put into the ground, the day of his funeral, there was paperwork filed to open an estate in his name. I was told, and I think common sense tells you, when they open an estate in his name, they're preparing to sue somebody for a wrongful death suit. Benjamin Crump has gotten people $700 million, $800 million, $500 million, $50 million, $30 million, $20 million, $10 million, $5 million, $2 million in wrongful death settlements in civil court. They've sued these police departments and gotten tons of money in wrongful death suit. Now, I think the play is this, is that they will not go back to work because they're going to try to prepare to sue to get a wrongful death payout. And $700,000 plus a multi-million-dollar wrongful death payout, why would you have to go back to work? You can invest that in some property, put that in the SP 500, put that in an index fund, and you can live off the interest. Especially if you get a $20 million, $30 million, $50 million, $100 million wrongful death suit. And to me, I think that's the play. I don't really know if justice is something that they want to get. I think they know what happened to Nolan. And they know what didn't happen to Nolan. I think they already know. That's why this is a PR tour and not necessarily a tour to bring awareness to Nolan Wells. This conversation should have just been about Nolan Wells, to be honest. That should have been it. This doesn't need to be a PR stunt. I said what I said. All right, y'all. I'm gonna end it with this. If you want some really good bourbon, give Verdict Bourbon a try. Go look at the reviews. You don't have to believe me. Look at the reviews. You must be 21 and over to drink. Make sure you drink responsibly. And go and look at the reviews and see all those 5-star reviews we have and what people are saying about Verdict. Go get it now. It's also a discount if you buy a case. The Guilty Verdict is a straightforward, straight bourbon, traditional like you would expect. A lot more smooth than most bourbons on the market because it's aged. And then the Not Guilty has brown sugar in it, which is a fan favorite. So if you love bourbon and that's your thing, go and get it from verdictbourbon.com, verdictbourbon.com. People want to know how I feel after the bike accident. I feel okay. I'm bruised on my arms. My forearm right here, you can see I got a little road rash on there, and it's a big contusion right here. It actually went down. My back is sore, but I'm okay. I think I'm okay, right? I had to go get an MRI and all of that stuff to make sure everything is good. But I think that I'm okay. My bike got damaged. Obviously broke my bike, and it's a very, very expensive bike. This is just as expensive as a car, to be honest. It's more expensive than motorcycles. And my bike got totaled, so I'm going to try to go and get another bike. Just so you guys know, man, cycling is my passion, man. It's the only thing I really enjoy doing. You know, I don't like hitting the weights like I used to. I'm not a football player no more. That don't excite me, squatting 500 pounds. They don't excite me no more. What I love doing is getting on the bike, getting out in the nature, riding, suffering on the bike, all those things I just really enjoy. I love everything about cycling. It's my favorite sport, and it's my only fitness piece that I have. My wife brings me a lot of peace in other categories, being a good mother, all of the above, giving me peace in my life, not complaining and nagging like some of y'all nagging your husband and making him want to jump out a window. But my wife gives me peace in that area. But when it comes to fitness peace, when it comes to mental health and peace, cycling has been number one for me. And so I guess the question is, will I ride again, or am I done forever? Nah, I'm going to ride again. If God want to take me, he going to take me. If he got things for me to do, there's things for me to do. And I want to get into shape. I want to be in the best shape of my life. I want to hit my goals that I did starting cycling 2 or 3 years ago. I want to ride 200 miles a week like I used to, and just live my life, blessing people and being healthy. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you for thinking about me. I'll give you some updates soon. I'll see you on the next one. We out.